Hello and welcome to Az's Speed Art Fart, where I talk about my art as it magically plops down in front of you. On today's first edition, we are going to be doing mouth watching. I like to start most of my big illustrations in black and white, just because I'm not very good with colors, and getting the values down makes my colors less muddy. So yeah, this is the part where I handcrafted a bunch of metal mesh for some reason. I decided there was no other way to do it, and it hurt my hand and I had to take a few breaks, but it actually didn't take as long as I thought it would. I thought it'd be like way longer. Honestly, most of the time I spent was trying to figure out what angle it's at, which is hard for you to see because I didn't use a lot of that footage. But anyway, I'm darkening up the mouth. I'm giving us some shadows to play with here. I like how this piece actually ended up, but it did start a little bit rough just because I was trying to play around with how bright or dark it should be. It ended up well, but it did take a little bit. Also, I discovered recently that Clip Studio Paint has a shading assist, which is what I used here to help me get a better feel for where the shading would be. I had no idea that Clip Studio Paint had something like this. It was actually pretty helpful, because another thing I'm not good at is shading. What am I good at, you might be asking? Improvising. Just like this. As you can see, I start adding some texture. I start adding a little bit of lighting on the eye and the wraps around here. Start darkening some of those areas that need darkening. And then a bunch of splatters. Just a whole bunch of dots. Like 10 million dots. Dots, 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 dots. Big dots, little dots, lots of dots. So many motherfreaking dots. And I keep going at that until I decided to put a little spin on things and get an actual dot brush, and erase some of it to make it a little rougher, because that brush that I'm using has a very distinct look to it, and I didn't want it to look uniform. And then more dots, more darker dots, because it's supposed to be kind of bloody and tattered. And then I colored the eye here and figured out what kinds of blues I wanted for the eye. Most of this piece is red because you know, it's mouth washing, it's blood, it's red, it's spooky. But I did want the eye to pop out, and so it did. And this little critter you've got here, that is a new creature I have made for my VTuber. If you want to see the full VTuber, you're gonna have to join the live stream when I actually do it. I'm gonna put the date here, And at this point, I thought I was almost done with it. I was trying to figure out how dark I wanted the blob, the little slime guy, to be. And it wasn't looking like how I wanted it to. I was trying to add more purple. It was like, it was eh. So I darkened it up. And it was looking pretty good at that point, but still it needed to be darker. So I added some more dark purple from actually his eye. I stole that color. And in between this, you don't get to see it, but I played with like 10 extra gradient maps to try and figure out what kind of colors I wanted. I settled on this, which is like a blue to red, which I like a lot. And that's how we got here. Pretty crazy, huh?